Alright guys, welcome back. We're going to talk today, and by talk I mean you're going to listen to me rant, about Roblox's filter string async and Roblox's filter string for broadcast functions. You're also going to hear me rant about the overarching concept of censoring and quote-unquote moderating, in reality destroying user content with your frankly garbage filtration system. If I have to be honest, this isn't Roblox's filtration system. If I recall correctly, I heard that this was a third-party system that they're using to evaluate the risk. Perhaps it's maybe not a third-party system, but perhaps it's just a generic open-source algorithm that they're using to evaluate the risk of these strings. And you know, I wouldn't be in the least angry about it if it did its job. If these strings were being filtered properly, if there wasn't a way to get around it, if it wasn't enforced, I would be totally happy with it. However, there are laws in place that require Roblox to moderate their content to a degree for minors and people who are under 13 years of age. That's just how it goes. However, Roblox is doing it in the wrong way, for the right reasons. And as cliche as that sounds, it's totally valid. We're going to test some words here. Let's start with a few ones that should be safe, right? So apple, that's a pretty safe word. Let's go. Let's try dad. See if dad's safe. What about father? Father's safe. What about mother? Interesting. Mother censored. What about mothers? So you can say my mother's mother. No, you can't. You just have to say grandma. But it's not that it's gimmicky. It's gimmicky and it shouldn't be gimmicky. You shouldn't need to say mom because the word my mother is a nice lady, or the phrase my mother is a nice lady, censored because you said mother, because that's a component of some vulgar phrase that if you're almost doing more harm by censoring these words that are components of vulgar phrases by giving them more value and meaning as cuss words. Do you understand that when someone says, don't say that, and you say it, you feel more powerful for saying it. You feel like you were rebelling. You feel that that was a naughty word that you said. And while I totally agree, censor the big, bad, ugly words. Censor the ones that are really meaningful. Censor the ones that are totally vulgar that you wouldn't say in public, regardless of age or, you know. But don't censor the word clamor. Don't censor the word elope. Clamor means a commotion. You can say commotion. That's uncensored. You can say run away and get, maybe you can't say married. Yeah, you can't say married. Which is odd because unless all of these children are the progeny of unwed couples, it makes no sense. Isn't it kind of the destiny of most people to grow up and get married? No? What if we said refractory? Refractory is fine. What if we said refractory period? But we can't because that's a biological function. Or is it? Is comma, exclamation point, period, question mark? Oh, okay, so that's fascinating. You don't even take it in context. Your system's good enough to evaluate the risk, but it's not smart enough to evaluate the context of these otherwise completely safe phrases and terms and words. Now, this is obnoxious because it's not even just about risk. Check this out. So, what's pleurosis? It's the inflammation of the lungs, the membrane surrounding the lungs that protects them, the pleura. Who would know this term? Not very many people. When are you going to say it in Roblox? Probably never unless you got pleurosis, you know. But if you wanted to say it for whatever reason, you can't. You can't because it's too high risk. I'm not exactly sure. You can't say house. You can't say house. Can you say home? You can't say home either. Can you say residence? Where do you reside? You can't say reside. So you can say residence, but you can't say reside. The hell is that, Roblox? Can you say hell? No, you can't say hell, but you can say heaven. You can say, can you say Jesus? No, you can't say Jesus. You can say God, right? Oh, interesting. Probably because those are components of cuss words, as in Jesus Christ or God damn it. But you can, I wonder, our Lord and Savior. You can say that. You can say Satan. Ooh. I don't know of any cuss words that start with Satan, you know, or cuss phrases. I'm not particularly religious, but I just figure the dichotomy between heaven and hell is exactly what we're dealing with here, in the sense that if you censor the word hell but don't censor the word heaven, you're just giving that profanity more value. And I touched on this concept in this video already, I believe, if it's not a new video. I've made several on this topic and shortened them down because they're just too long, but it's almost harmful. Now, Roblox should be aware, if they were really with it, if they were, I mean, they've been developing this platform for 11 years, 12 years, 10, I'm not even sure, somewhere around there. It's 2017, they started in 2005, right? It's remarkable how they don't understand that kids are going to talk to other kids. That's just how it works. Even in your old safe chat system, you could say, I like you in the night, I want to be with you long time, feel good. And everyone knows what they're trying to say. They're 10-year-olds and they know what they're trying to say. They could go on the internet, they can Google anything, get instant results. They can view online personalities, YouTubers, unrestricted if they're not logged in and they're under 13, just fine, no problem. But they can't say the word clamor. It doesn't make any sense to me. So if you're allowing your kid to peruse the internet, if you're letting them on the internet to be with other people on the internet, you waive your right to be angry. As a parent, you waive the right to be angry that your child is subject to profane content, vulgarity, cuss words. You know that's on there, and if you don't, it's going to be a rude awakening, and you're going to be brought out from under your rock, and you're going to understand that the internet is one big social circle. You wouldn't take your child to a bar and get angry because they're serving alcohol in front of you. You wouldn't say, no, don't serve alcohol in this bar. My son is here. What are you doing? He's only 9 years old and you're serving alcohol in front of him? Nobody would care. You'd get thrown out because you're an idiot. Nobody wants you there, right? These laws are built to protect children, right, from parents who won't protect children. And that's good. That's a good thing. Roblox's filter, the idea that they want to implement a filter for users of all ages, is a good thing. However, the system is not the way to go about it. Roblox is introducing features like dynamic lighting, and they're working on more dynamic lighting in a recent Hack Week I saw, and they can develop R15 rigs. They have so many engineers, and you can't even develop your own system to filter strings, one that works. It's remarkable how many resources are being dedicated to the suppression of content that doesn't abide by this system and the suspension of places that do not fall within the constraints of the system. However, the system is bad. It's very bad. These functions, you need to pass a player. What if... I don't understand. Not all communication happens when you chat. Communication happens when you send text to a billboard in the game. And granted, you could detect the player argument of the remote event that you use to send the text to that billboard. But at that point, it is so complicated. For me, it's no problem. For many other scripters and developers, it's no problem. For people in the RBX dev, it's no problem. And certainly for Roblox engineers, it's no problem. But for the people who are developing content that cannot code, for the young kids who are developing content for their friends, to play with their friends, to experiment, to learn how to develop, you're slamming the door in their face. They're making this content so you can have this grassroots base. Games like the Mad Murderer, yeah, they earn money. They earn place traffic. I wonder how many people are playing in games that have less than 50 people, less than 100 people online right now. If you totaled all that up, guarantee you Mad Murderer would look like just another tiny little game. It wouldn't even appear on the front page if that conglomeration of individuality was put in first place. You know, it's remarkable how we value the mad the Mad Murderer. And we can say Mad Murderer because that's whitelisted. Roblox cared enough about that particular game to say, I'm going to whitelist the phrase Mad Murderer, but I'm not going to block the word, or I'm not going to uncensor the word murderer. But I'll leave kill. Kill's okay, right? I'll leave organ smashing, guts oozing, brains everywhere. I'll leave that in. That's totally fine. I'm not going to censor a word of that. But as soon as you start talking about pleurosis, ooh, we're going to get you. You know, it's infuriating. And it's Roblox's fault. They can change it easily, so easily. It's going to have to change. Otherwise, you're going to suspend everyone's place that involves custom chat, putting your text somewhere like a billboard GUI, leaderboards, and I had a visitor earlier. His name was Do Not Read This Username. Surely a Roblox username would pass the filter async, or the filter string for broadcast test. It would pass the filter, right? As you expected, nope. Why? Who knows? It's content generated by a user that does not meet the requirements for the filtering, which means that Roblox, by allowing that content in the first place as a username, is violating their own terms, which is absolutely hilarious. So, in the end, Roblox needs a new system. They need a new filter system, and they need a way to make it easy for people. Just take care of it yourself. When somebody chats Roblox, moderate that string right away. Don't make us do it with your weird functions. If somebody inputs text after the events, the focus lost event of a text box, moderate that string, right? And then for custom content, games with custom content, moderate that when they get popular. Moderate that when it becomes a problem. Don't moderate it because little Timmy doesn't know how to use filter string async and you're going to crush all his hopes and dreams of having any sort of a game by suspending it when it's got 50 visits and no filtration in place. That is absurd. It is ridiculous. You have some moral responsibility to facilitate a comfortable environment for your young developers, and it's a hassle for everybody involved. And so there's my tangent. Solutions: develop your own filtration system. Don't use whatever third party, whatever open source algorithm you're using to detect risk. Don't whitelist words, blacklist them. That's what I have to say on this topic, because if you're going to blacklist anything, it's going to be, the stuff that matters. So, yeah, on that note, I will make a video about how I actually filtered this. It's not very complicated at all. I'll make it as easy as possible so that people who are young developers can understand, and I can link this video to multiple people who have questions, because I've already received dozens of requests for, hey, Soy, can you help me moderate the strings in my game? It's suspended, which is annoying enough to the point where I had to make this video. Didn't have to, felt a moral obligation to. Your resident Batman of the chat filtration system. We'll see you in the next video where I explain how I did it. Thanks for bearing with me. If this video was interesting to you at all, or if you agreed with any of the topics, leave a like. If you disagree and think that Roblox's hashtags are awesome, then go away. We don't want you here watching this video. Leave a dislike. I don't care. This needs to go away. This needs to change. And I think we can all agree that the hashtags are just a headache and a half. Oh my God, I'm sick of it. Cool. See you guys.